Alright, got another radio just came in. Something a little different than I usually work on here lately. Not an 858 chassis. This is another Radio Shack radio though. One of my favorite small radios. So let's get it open and check it out. And by the way, this one came from Goodwill on eBay. And they actually shipped it FedEx and I had it in 2 days. So don't use priority mail. Don't use USPS Ground Select. Just don't use USPS and save yourself a lot of trouble. Any other way you ship, it'll actually get here on time. So, without further ado, let me get this opened up. Okay, so what we got here is a Radio Shack TRC 465. This radio is about the same size as a Cobra 25, maybe a little bit shorter. But this radio has sideband. So if you're a sideband user and you drive a truck or car or something that don't have a lot of space for a radio, how modern vehicles are, try to find you one of these. Because it's about the same size, like I said, as a Cobra 25. And these radios are actually great, especially for their small size. This one did not include a bracket. I'm going to see if I can dig up a Cobra 25 bracket here shortly. But it did come with a microphone that's looks like it's in pretty decent shape. Got a hanger. And they said they couldn't test it because the power cord was bad. But this did come from a Goodwill, so I understand that. And I'm not worried about that. I got a million of these. I'll use this for scrap wire for making something. But let me get this hooked up and let's see if it works. Alright, need to get me some of them bench cookies. These sponges look ugly, but yeah, my desk is a mess anyway. Anywho's, this is very basic. Kind of like a Cobra 25, a little bit better than a Cobra 19, of course. You got volume, squelch, RF gain, clarifier for sideband, of course, upper and lower sideband, noise blanker on and off, and a PA that nobody ever uses. So let's see. She works. Okay. Okay, this meter's a little low, so that's probably, I'll check it on the other one here in a minute. It's probably about 3 watts, but hello, 1, 2, 3. Talking at about 4 inches away from the mic. We're modulating from probably about 3 to 8 watts. This seems to be, this MFJ meter, it always shows the carrier pretty low on this 20 watt scale, but the peak matches all my other meters, so anyway. But that is showing about 8 watts peak. Hello, hello. Let me try upper sideband. Audio, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Showing about 14. Let me stick this on my other meter and see what it looks like. So go through the dummy load and stuff. Pair it with a Radio Shack matching meter. Okay, I'm on a dummy load now. I'm going to try it in the middle of the band here on 19. I got it set back to AM. So we're on the dummy load. Yeah, just like I suspected. Look at the bottom scale. About 3 watts. Sorry about the shaky camera work. Maybe I'll zoom out a little better. About 5 or 6 forward. So this is a stock radio. Hasn't been buggered with. Let me switch it back to sideband. Showing about 10 watts. Let me put a sideband tone into it here. About 8 watts with the sideband test. Let's do 1,000 hertz tone. Showing about 10. So this is a good stock radio. Well, I guess I'll still be opening up and looking at the inside because I'm probably going to do an alignment. Let me go back to 6. I am on the dummy load here. Let's see. AM audio, 1, 2, 1, 2. Not very loud. Upper sideband. Audio, 1, 2. She off frequency. Upper sideband's off frequency. Let's see here. Lower sideband. This radio you can tell, because this is an SDR. It don't drift. It can't. Audio, 1, 2, 3. Audio. Yeah, so both upper and lower sideband are off frequency a little bit. I'm going to try to do an alignment here, see what I can find, but I'm going to open it up and show you the inside. And if there's a clarifier unlock procedure, I would love to do that because that combats your drift if you lock your transmit and receive together. So as you're talking to somebody, if you warm up and start drifting, you can move your transmit and receive both and keep locked on to them. So that way you're not playing with your clarifier and they're not playing with their clarifier, unless you both got unlocked radios and they've been misaligned completely. But that's a story for another day. So let's see what this looks like on the inside. So this thing's kind of cool to look at on the inside. I mean, look how small. There's my hand for comparison. Look how small this guy is. And it's a full-fledged sideband radio size of a Cobra 25. It's even got the bridge here that you can take out to set your bias. Kind of like a President 2510 or Galaxy. And I'm pretty sure these are made by Uniden. I see a lot of PB Uniden looking PCB numbers in there. It's hard to focus. This thing's tiny. But I'm going to go see what service information I can find. And hopefully I can find something. If not, I got to tinker. But there's usually a way to tell. Never use a metal tool to align one of these. But if you're trying to figure out which one's your sideband cans, you can go transmit and sideband. And take you a metal tool and just kind of touch near it. If it goes up or down, that will be the can. So if you're an upper sideband, just for example, and you get close to this one and it goes up, that's your upper sideband. You can label them, U, S, and A, for upper, U, L, A, upper, lower, and AM, or however these are configured. But I really don't want to play too much with it unless I can find some VCO information, because I'll do a full alignment. These aren't really that old enough to usually need a full recap. But then again, these were in the 90s when they were at the capacitor epidemic. Somebody has checked these. I don't know if that's a factory thing, but I tend to go ahead and change these anyway because of this glue. This glue is in a good state right now. It's still kind of soft. When this glue turns brown, it becomes corrosive, and it'll short this out. Because sometimes they put a spot of glue as they stick these on the board to hold it down, and that will eventually turn corrosive and conductive and short this out. So this is okay. This is wax. But anything that's got this brown glue on it, change that part, scrape all the glue off. And if you're going to run it in a mobile, it's okay to use hot glue. And if you got a hot air gun, a hot air station, instead of using a glue gun, you can actually heat up the glue right on the tip, put it around where you want it, pull it away, get rid of your string, and that's sufficient. That's what all the new Cobras and stuff use, is just hot glue, because if you need to remove it, it usually comes apart with high 91% or higher rubbing alcohol. So let me see what alignment information I can find on this bad boy, and I'll at least recap the big ones that have glue, and I'll kind of check out in here. I do see something. I don't know if this is flux. There's something sticky on the board here, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Okay, we are back on the attack. I got these two caps here changed, 1000. Okay. Best way to get your max power out of this without blowing stuff up, take this one here, your ALC, crank it, go on sideband, put in a test tone, preferably 1000 hertz, or dual tone, 500 hertz and 2400 hertz. And you want to tune this guy. Let's see if I can make this clear. This guy here, here, and here. Right here in the back. Don't touch any of the other ones. They're for receive and other stuff. This one, this one, this one, and this one, until you get your maximum modulation, your maximum power out of it. And then switch back to AM. And then right here is AM power. Set your dead key for between 2 and 3.5 watts. I don't really set it for 4. Okay. And then switch back to sideband. Adjust your ALC, which is this guy, to about 12 to 14 watts of peak power, fully modulated. The modulation limiter circuit in these is kind of trash. You can crank this is the AM modulation right here. You can crank it all the way open, it's still not over modulated. It's like right at like 95%. So just leave it at that. Don't clip anything. I'm not even going to point where to clip if you wanted to. So, all right, now for the frequency alignment, if you don't have a whole bunch of fancy test equipment, what you can do is don't touch any of the cans other than these first three. If you got an AM frequency counter, you can hook it up in line, transmit, no modulation, go on channel 20 or something, set it to 27205. Okay? And then your next one is upper sideband. If you don't have a bunch of fancy test equipment, go to a known good radio, clarifier centered, and then go ahead and audio or throw your tone into here and just carefully adjust this one until it's on frequency on upper sideband. Switch over to lower sideband, do the same thing on this can. And once it matches your known good radio, this is if you don't have good test equipment, that should get you in the ballpark if you're way off. Make sure your clarifier is centered, and then do the same thing. Transmit on a good test radio, and listen on this one. There will be play in here. These aren't super tight. The ones for receive are these three, but do not mess with those. There is one other adjustment. If you're doing the alignment properly, when you get the lower sideband, you're clipped on to this guy here with a frequency counter. You will set this in receive, and then you'll key up and set this one so those two match, and then your clarifier should be centered for receive and transmit. I'm not going to get too technical into it. I got a video coming up later. I'm going to try to follow a full alignment guide. But let's see what she is doing now. Might even squeal on the monitor radio because these don't have a mic gain, and I've got it opened up. So bed key, I've actually turned it down a little bit to about 3 watts. Talk up close to it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Hello. About 18. So we're about 3 to 18. So I guess it technically is overmodulated. If you don't like to get up on it, though, you're talking a normal distance. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Hello. If you are overmodulating, like I said, go back here, this one here, and just turn her down a little bit. Now, sideband, the lower sideband, and I'll set this one to lower sideband so we can see if we're on frequency. Audio, 1, 2, 3. Audio, 1, 2, 3. Hello, audio, 1, 2, 3. Set her to upper sideband. Audio, 1, 2, 3. Audio, 1, 2, 3. Perfectly on frequency. So, if you don't have a bunch of fancy test equipment, but you got a known good radio, remember, these two here, upper sideband, lower sideband, just adjust that until it matches your known good radio. And that'll get you in the ballpark. But you would be best to have a frequency counter. I mean, I've got one here, but get one of these guys on eBay. Okay? You can hook up a set of test leads with a BNC connector and some alligator clips. And if you follow the service manual, you'll ground the black one to the chassis, and you'll take the red one. Part of the alignment's here, part of it's here. Part of it will be on, let's see, what guy was it? I'll try to, when I do my next video, I got one coming up, I'm going to try to follow the procedure. So anybody who's never followed an alignment, manual or a schematic or anything, I'll try the alignment first. I'm not going to teach you how to read a schematic. That could take all day, but we'll go through the alignment steps on another 858 chassis if it ever gets here through the friggin' mail. So this one here is looking pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and get the covers button back up. Receive was dead on. If you can't afford a bunch of fancy test equipment, I've got spectrum analyzers, I've got signal generators, I've got all kinds of other stuff. But if you can find one of these in good shape, a Syncor CB42, get you some BNC cables, some BNC adapters. This thing is like a virtual radio dock in the box. It's got a frequency counter. It can tell you % of modulation. You can put test tones into it. You can do all kinds of stuff and get your radio set up, receive, transmit. And yeah, it's not as good as, $5,000, fancy yearly calibrated equipment, but that'll get you in the ballpark. Of course, a cheap scope, analog scope, they're a lot better than these digital ones when it comes to working on stuff in here that, vacuum tube voltmeter is also pretty good. for doing stuff on these on the oscillators. So get you a decent set of meters, something tight. These Radio Shack ones, a lot of people don't like them because they're so darn tight, but they're pretty well on. I've compared it to bird meters and other stuff. I mean, it's not a perfect meter by any means, but it's actually closer than even these active peak meters. It's very good. Let me get this buttoned up, and I'll show it on that meter there. All right, I got the covers buttoned up. You should do most of your tuning on channel 19 or 20, be in the middle of the band, unless you're on a 23 channel, but I run on channel 6 because if I'm over the air, I don't care if I'm stepping on people because nobody can hear you anyway because everybody's running an amplifier. But here on this Radio Shack meter, you will see, here, dead key, see about 3 watts. Audio, 1, 2, hello. See how it's like jumping really hard to an 8 and cutting back? That tells you the modulation limiter is still intact. Let's take it over to sideband real quick. Audio. Turn on my... So it's showing almost 11 watts on that really tight meter. Switch it to AM. See, it should be technically slightly overmodulated a little, but it is not. Hello, 1, 2, 3. Got a little bit of a pinch, but no flat topping. So a really loud audio. This here's not super loud. It's pinching just a little bit with the microphone right onto the cup here. So testing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Next thing I got to do is see if I can locate a bracket. And I'm talking, this is a pretty good distance away. Watch this. Hello, 1, 2, 3. Hello, 1, 2, 3. Hello, hello, hello. Hello. Doesn't matter if you're up on the mic or far away. But if you're in a truck, you might want to turn the limiter down just a little bit. So not to pick up background noise. There's really no mic gain circuit on this one. But if you got a small space, this is definitely the rig for you. If you like sideband and you don't want to fool, with cutting up your dash or something goofy, it's not going to be a super duper powerhouse, but these here are a lot better than these new 980 SSBs and junk radios you pay $200 for at the truck stop. And I've got the clarifier dead centered. I might put it back on the air here in a minute and see if anybody's talking on sideband, and we'll test that out. But I'm going to try to get my local traffic on here in a bit, and we'll pick up from there. Well, it's been pretty dead out here tonight. Not even much noise level. Had my other radios hooked up, and they're showing me like a S1, so I'm not really hearing much what's going on. I did test it earlier on 19. Just don't hear anybody talking right now. I mean, I know my receiver works just fine. I've tested it on the test equipment. Here, this only has channel 14 in it. Put that antenna up a little bit. So, I know the receive works just fine. But nobody talking tonight. Guess I'll have to end this one here probably. But how about you, Cheezo or Wallpaper? Anybody out there? Doing just as well as any other modern radio on transmit and receive, so just squelch. If you find a TRC 453 out there, it's the same radio, but the face is chrome. And then a Uniden PC 122 should have the same board in it also. So, pretty good find. If you find one of these for $100 or less, and it works, just buy it. You'll be happy with it. They tune up pretty well. Even if they're stock, the receive was dead on. The PLL alignment, the VCO was dead on. Lower sideband and upper sideband were off just a hair. And I've got those corrected, and this is another one in the bag. This one's good to go. So I might have this one up for sale on eBay sometime the end of the month or next month. I don't know. I got a lot of stuff coming up here soon once people start getting their checks. That's when all these 29s and 148s and Connexes and all that stuff's got to go. These are my personal collection, so these ones ain't going nowhere. But neither are these as of yet. But I'm going to have a whole bunch of 29s, a couple of Rangers, a couple of Connexes, a couple of things coming up for sale. So stay tuned, and I will post test out videos when I get them up on eBay too, so you can come here and check them out. So, and I have a TRC, I think it's a 458, 858 base coming, and it's hung up in the mail. It's been going around. It's in New Jersey now. It came from Oklahoma, went to Texas, went to Chicago, went to Florida. Now it's in New Jersey, and it's been there for about 4 days. So that's what's holding me up on a lot of videos. I still have 3 things that have been basically going around in a circle for a month. So if you hate USPS and think the mail sucks, give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment below. And other than that, any questions or comments, feel free to ask, and I'll get back with whoever I can in my time there. But a lot of technical questions, you can find the manual and the service manual for this up on cbtricks.org under Realistic TRC 465. That's what I followed for this. In a PDF you can download. It's full manual. So yeah, cbtricks.org, radiomods. Was it NZ, whatever. A couple of sites, they've got this schematic on there. So if you like this radio and you're interested in it, also leave a comment below. And when I do list this up on eBay, I might reply to your comment just to let you know when it's listed. So what's the audio sound like on it?
A little bit deep, not bad.
A little bit deep.
Yeah, like you got a deep voice.
Well, that's a stock radio. I just peeked and tuned it a little bit. It is a Radio Shack stock mic with the horrible DIN plug. This thing don't even have a 1 on the S meter. It's got the lights. It starts at 3.
Yeah, I got one I talked to.
Yeah, this is a Radio Shack TRC 465. It's just like a 453, which is chrome on the front, or a Uniden PC 122. Smaller than a Cobra 25. I've got her on a Cobra 25 bracket, but the bracket's a little too big. Pretty good for such a small little radio, working good on sideband like that. Yeah, it puts out about 18 watts on sideband, and it's swinging about 16 to 18 here on AM. It ain't had no power mods and nothing clipped, nothing. They don't make them like they used to. These new Uniden ones they sell, them 980s, they're garbage. You can barely get 12 watts out of them, even with power mods. As long as it sounds good. I just hate the kind of mic connectors on these Radio Shack ones are. I'm always good at pulling them out when I'm trying to reach for the mic. I always tell Wallpaper Man, whoever invented DIN plugs, I hope they're having a nice day in hell right now, burning up. Well, Radio Shack had to be different because they had them DIN plugs on computers and on audio equipment like MIDI interfaces, and it was cheap. So they stuck them on their stuff. For one, it's cheaper, and two, you had to buy microphones from them, and nobody could wire them too easy. So you had to keep going back to Rat Shack. Yep, successful test. 73s, everybody. Catch you on the next video.